Hey, sexy souls. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do this just a little bit so I can get the thing out of the way. All right. Are we sure we got it? We got it. We got it. Okay. Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo, where I'm weird and we woo woo. It was a cross between a coffee and tarot and a weekly check-in, and it just settled in with the weekly check-in. So, we're gonna pull some cards. Check in on the energies, see if there's any messages. Now this could be something. Oh man, I be making stuff dirty all the time. Y'all should see. I have a candle. Um, and it's Hallow, and it's by, like, I know y'all know who this is, Thorne Bradley. Um, and it was I don't like, sometimes the wick, splits like that, and I'll clean it up and everything. It got little particles. I don't even know how or when, like, little of the fragments of the wick all in the candle, and, I tried to light it, and it sparked, like, it said, you know how candles do, and because there's, like, the soy wax stuff around the rim, um, and, like, the whole rim started burning. I was like, "Oh, no." So I had to put it out really quick before my fire alarms went off. So, um, and there's little at some point, I got some fragments of the wick on my floor. So there's like black streaks on the floor too. So hello. So it's, yeah, it's everywhere. So we have our good old regular candle today, but this is why I have marks everywhere all over the place. Anywho, all right, so let me give you my spiel. You are a sovereign being of your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. My recommendation is never Cinderella it to make it fit. Okay. I do ever have my coffee. So no fear. All righty. Figure out where we're starting. I'm a little hesitant, but they want to start with Kipper because that gets very specific, and then it's like, oh, are we going to broaden out? But we're going to start here. So let me. I'm about to. I would suggest. They're giving me the idea of like cleansing something that you don't clean on the regular. Now, when they say cleansing, I tend to think more energetic, spiritually based, right? Versus clean. And so maybe you need to either look at some of the tools that you use or maybe some of the old um, items in your home, like things that have been around for some time. Like there may be something that needs to be cleansed. It feels like something specific, not something as broad as like your whole home, but like something specific. And so they're just kind of like, oh, you haven't given attention to this, so that's something. I'm not really sure what, but it's like go ahead and they're giving me the idea of to say like you got something you need to cleanse, something specific that you haven't in a long time. So more like it's time. All right, let's see what these cards are gonna bop out for us. Imprisonment. How fun. Yay. Official person. Something official. Okay. They're bringing me to the key. They brought me to the key, and then I realized there's a lock because they said locked doors. So I see a lock and a key. Official person might be the key to the lock to unlocking something. We shall see. Change. Now, this is a bit more of a dramatic change. They always depict it as like a car that's being packed full of things. This isn't like a trip. This is like a move kind of thing. So it's a significant change, let's put it that way. One that's more a bit more permanent than say a trip, right? It doesn't mean that you're moving, it just means uh the scale of um the change in and of itself, basically. And I just see 2 9. I see 2 2 9. So twos and nines. And that together, that's 11. Okay. No. These cards are stuck together. What? I don't even, there's not anything sticky. So how did they stick together? What the? Okay, that's got to be some, okay, symbolic or something. Let's take a look at what the cards were that all stuck together. They were crackling as I was, but there's nothing sticky on them. I don't even know what caused them. Good, great fortune, child, courthouse, community, high honor. Most certainly, great fortune and high honor talk about things, like moving favorably for somebody. Child can be a child or a brand new start, something beginning. Courthouse is about decisions or compromises or contracts. Community is exactly that. Expectation, I didn't see that before. No wonder they wanted me to go through it again. So expectation is the idea of something that you've been waiting for. But let's see. Okay, tell me about the official person, please. Alrighty. Okay. Between journey and change, there is a large let me grab something really quick. A large change that's happening. Oh, I'm scooching on my chair. Give me just a moment. Alrighty. I'm okay. Okay. I had something over there. Despair. I'm gonna make the assumption, y'all. I'm gonna make the assumption despair goes under the imprisonment. So there is something that has been either uh we're just gonna use the analogy of a locked door. All right. Not being able to walk through something. I'm gonna make the assumption that the message is coming from an official is like it is the idea official can be not just a person, but it's like the idea of it's for real happening. It's official. It's happening. It's kind of the notion that you don't have kind of any control over this. This is out of your hands. But it's almost like a guaranteed. That's why it's like official. So if it's not a person, it's like this is officially happening type of situation. Journey. There is so they're reiterating this. I wanted to steer clear of moves, environmental changes, things like that. But this is actually indicating that. So there's some kind of a message. All right, let's see. Okay, now I can put that up. Where are we pulling from? Yeah, new era elements. It's slow moving thus far, the message. It's so very matter of fact, and it's almost as if it's like these feel like bullet points. Bullet points rather than a conversation. So hopefully this opens up because this is telling me it is a distance. The journey card is the idea of, and it's a 10, 9, 10. So I want to say that you are moving. It's the type of a change that's permanent, a permanent change. Um, I can't help but get a distance, like quite a distance. Back in the day, you would not want to go nearly as far in this kind of a vehicle. Just gonna say, it reminds me of the ones where you have to crank the shit. You know what I mean? And they didn't have the money for the gas and stuff, so this would be like across town, things like that. But when you add journey, where it's like, okay, if I'm gonna go far, I'm gonna go on a steam locomotive, like so I can be you know? It's just there's distance here. Not hiring. This is feeling from despair, like more like destitution, being a bit destitute. Financially restricted. Knight of Wands, Ten of Cups. So we go from destitute and despair to that is an exceptionally fast turnaround. To repletion is almost more like replenishment. So all that you've lost or all that you've been without, it's like all of those. They're giving me the stores. So like not stores as in where you shop, like how like there's vats of oil out there. There's stores of like they're showing those cylindrical things that for storage. Like you store something. Your stores, which would give me like your savings, your backup, your stores are going to be replenished. That's an overabundance. Very quickly. Obviously, with the Knight of Wands, there's a person here. I am not. Here's the thing. This is coming directly from source. It's not. I'm not getting any kind of personality. I'm not tapping into any particular person's energy, their emotions, the way it feels to them. This is like when spirit wants to skip all of that and just wants to be like, "Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da." That's what's happening right now. That's why it feels so like bullet point. This so very like choppy with the doom 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 messaging. It's like boom 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 boom, and then we get to put it together. But I'm not tapping into any particular person's energy, which I can frequently do because they let me feel into how it feels and the energy of things. This is literally like I'm getting told this, 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 and this. It's fact. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Um Empress, Page of Cups, and the Ten of Pentacles. So like my gut is like, hey, spirit, let's not overpromise, okay? But there is this air of when you've been without and feeling imprisoned, just having that door unlocked can feel the distinct difference can feel immense. From having no way to unfettered freedom is kind of like that in and of itself will feel like overabundance, if that makes sense. Sorry, they're bringing me to some of the images. For some, this may come way of a phone call. Others, this may come some form of written communication, like typed, like whatever. Um, Empress has given me like the ability to sustain yourself for like self sustenance, but also to nurture and care and that kind of thing for others. So it's like having enough for more than just the self. Page of Cups. I feel like this is an invitation. Okay, I was going to say an invite proposition. So I was starting with the whole like a friend that could be more kind of thing. Um, and they wanted to go with like you like being invited into something. But they also gave me like it's not like a formal invite. So this would look like a formal invite, with the wax seal and everything else like that. It's not so much of a like I don't get the sense of like an event. You know what I mean? Like this big formal event. It's like, oh. I don't get the sense of a big to do. They are being very limited on the energy, so I can only tell you so much because this is feeling not just like lovers, companions, things like that, right? This is feeling um like two things coming together. That's the most basic and general as I could. Are you serious? Um there's something about the bench that is significant. While it is like in the beginning, I can handle it, but also as it goes on, it's irritating as a reader to be like, because I just feel like I'm like reading off of a sheet is what it feels like, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. Nine of Wands is a very protected. Chariot is it's things that are aligned and moving forward. Again, we have change, journey, chariot. This is about distance. Okay, I'm putting this up and I'm choosing my deck because I want some information here because we're enough with the it feels like I'm stating facts and figures and I don't like that. So let's get into the nitty gritty and the details of this spirit. And why are we bringing this up for the weekly check-in is my question. So we have the King of Pentacles. That's probably the official person. And maybe official is like they're in charge, meaning like you can't force this to come any faster than what it has because they're the ones that get to decide if when. But they are also the individual that has this some kind of like communication with you or proposition, invite, however you want to call it. That's the King of Pentacles. Did you just see that? Are we serious right now? That flew so forcefully out of my friggin' hands. God. I'll let you see. I'm not reading all those cards. But, Three of Wands. Oh my God. Two of Cups. King of Wands. Ace of Swords. Lovers. Are we shitting? Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Cups. Two of Wands. Nine of Pentacles. The Sun. Ace of Cups. Okie dokie. I feel like they were getting really irritated with me because I keep trying to make this very not love, like so general for everybody. And they're like, would you fucking just get your shit together, Shauna, and say what we're telling you? Let's look at that again. Two of Cups, Lovers, the Sun, and the Ace of Cups with the Lovers down here. Page of Cups. All right, well, let's start over then. Let me think about the questions I want to ask. What kind of message or invite is the King of Pentacles sending? Let's talk about that. What kind of message? I'm about to sneeze, y'all. I'm about to go on my little sneezing fit. Okay, Page of Cups again. Oh, okay. Okie dokie. The Sun. You're going to have to let me in on the energy if you want me to interpret these things. Otherwise, we're not going to get the messages that we need. Why is this being cloaked in this way? Is my question. I just heard. Okay, here we go. I heard what I got was someone feels disconnected from themselves. Like they can't feel the energy of something. And when it's not like a permanent disconnection from self. It is really disconnected from, how do I say this? From the notion, idea, or possibility of intimate connections, relations, things like that. I'd say they're not necessarily disconnected from themselves, but they are, and I don't even know if disconnected is it's like unplugged. That's disconnected, right? But it feels like a better way to say it. Somebody's unplugged from the idea, notion, of a romantic love. And that doesn't mean that you can't recognize that you would love to have that or desire it, but it's almost like of all the things energetically that you could tap into, somehow that's been unplugged. For some of you, that's by your own doing, and for others, that would be Spirit's doing. It's almost as if you don't have nearly as many questions or expectations when you're unplugged from something like that. Because it's almost like when you get information, either you resist it, you question it, or you place expectations on it, which then interferes with things. So you've been unplugged. You've been unplugged. And I just feel somebody kind of like existing in their own little world, their own fantasies, their own ideas of romance, but not the actual true prospects of it, if that makes sense. All righty. That might also be why it was I was also not, I'm not feeling a person's energy. Like they just unplugged. Because whatever's on offer wants to treat somebody like an empress, wants to experience the 10 of Pentacles with them. Whatever's on offer affords somebody the experience and lived life of an empress, 10 of Pentacles energy. Okay. So maybe the unpluggedness is that sense of protection that I'm feeling around this, and that's what's allowing this to move forward and align. Like the Chariot, nothing can get in its way, not even you. But whatever's coming in at the hands of somebody else is like replenishes somebody. Okay. Whatever is on offer is highly favorable with the Sun and the Page of Cups, highly favorable, and has a lot more packed into it than someone realizes, than it appears on the surface. Okay. What does that have to do with the change and the journey? The Fool. Whatever it is brings in um not a restart, a new start. Are you serious? 10 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. It's like they're showing me somebody going to a shop and you get to buy whatever that like let's say life is a bunch of a series of books, and um you're done with one whole book of life, and it's like you get to go and experience a whole new life. That's why it's not a restart, it's a new start, and it's like you get to choose the book that you want to experience. And so, okay, this is just gonna be what it is, guys. Y'all are just gonna have to freaking follow along or whatever. Two of Swords is the idea of maybe there's thoughts within your mind, truths that you hold that keep you in a stalemate from pursuing this or moving towards it, but intuitively, because like when you're blindfolded, as in like Rider Waite, it's like you're checking in with your soul. It's not your mind that is trying to make the decision. It is something beyond your mental capacity, your mental thoughts. Okay. So when they're talking about a long journey, that's what they're talking about. They're referencing that like this is a long distance. So whatever choice this is, it's like in the long haul, because we have the 10 of Pentacles twice, and of course the journey is the 10. So 10, 10, 10. So the journey is like whatever, if you say yes to this, it ends up being a long ass journey. This isn't something where it's like, and that might be why they're posing it like the Page of Cups. Like it appears like something that, on the surface isn't. Like there's no guarantee or there's no assurity that it's going to be long, but it is. It's more than what it seems like. So it's kind of like if you say yes, you're saying yes to something long term that allows you to live into some type of legacy. It filters into all areas of life because we are talking about the pentacles here. So you're talking like family, emotional, material, all of it. It filters into it. So, because with this one, we've got again the choice between two ideas, notions, truths, and then like if you were to follow either thought pattern, it's like that's where you feel stuck. You feel kind of like you're being ripped apart here. Um, you're not moving anywhere. And the idea is like with the Chariot, all aspects are coming into alignment. When the horse or the sphinxes are trying to go in opposite directions, you fucking go nowhere. And so there's something about following, because the spotlight to me is like focusing on the core of somebody, right? Their truest essence, their soul. And so it's like when you tap into that and allow that to make the decision, because you're not going to go anywhere if you attempt to let your brain decipher something. I feel like it gets tripped up on something, and things just pause and stagnate. So this is the idea that your higher self, your soul, whatever the fuck you want to call it, feels compelled, drawn, or it highlights the path to go. And again, it is drawn to something that ends up being the 10 of Pentacles. So they're propositioning you something or offering something or inviting you in to something that ends up being like paints the path for the rest of your life, basically. It's more than just an opportunity. Okay. 7 of Cups. You don't, I could be saying this and like your soul, I feel, is saying, is like resonating with this, but your brain is like dissecting it and trying to figure it out. Even if it's not, I'm not saying that you're over here like stressing the fuck out, got a tension headache, 'cause you're like, what? How to, but your brain naturally just starts a Rolodex, you know, where you flip, 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 trying to figure out, okay, what is this? Ooh, is it could it be? You know what I mean? And 7 of Cups gives me like there's confusion because you're like, well, what exactly is the 10 of Pentacles? And then also, like, I don't know how I feel about this emotionally. Like, I'm kind of like, if you were to put the soul aside and put the mind aside and just listen to your like your body, it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this. Because it's almost as if you feel something, but you didn't know this is what you were feeling into. And it's funny because whatever it is, it's it f- it fulfills you and fills up your cup internally. 10 of Cups. But likewise, it supplies an endless reciprocity around you. If you're in the 9 of Cups, that's your cup. And you have to be careful, right? Like of that's true genuine contentment and personal fulfillment and satisfaction, right? But it's also like what happens when that cup runs dry? Like this is feeling like being surrounded with something where if you're pouring your cup out, your cup is getting poured into. That's why it's replenishment. It's like an endless supply of sustenance. Never getting back to, remember I said this felt like depletion? Never getting back to this. Because, I mean, think about it. Yes, this can be being destitute and feeling desperate and feeling kind of like the outcast. But isn't that the whole point? Is that everybody else is inside this building enjoying the things that you want to enjoy, but you don't get to participate. You're not a part of that. And at no point do any of them invite you in. So you're in an environment that doesn't love you back and pour back into you the way that you are willing to pour into it. That will be new for somebody. I feel as if somebody has gotten into this position because they've always been a part of an environment that could never pour back into it as quickly as they poured out. And so it was never truly reciprocal. And so at some point, you fully became depleted. And that might add to the confusion of like, I've never experienced this. I don't even know if this is real. I don't know if this is even possible. I don't know how I feel about this. I have a part of me that's no to this. It's like um going somewhere where you will always be able to operate at full capacity. And at any point when you feel like you are operating at a lower voltage, you get to recharge kind of thing. What does it feel like when you never experience mental, spiritual, or emotional burnout? Is that even actually possible in the world that we exist in? There's the illustrious Two of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. Look at how beautifully these two come together. Because I really want to talk about their crowns just emanating. And there's a cup here and a cup here. And it's like there's this swirl. There's a very spiritual basis for this. It is a connection that for lack of a better term, transcends the physical, which is the reason why it's coming in, because you can experience all the things of this world materially by yourself. The thing that you can't by yourself is this spiritual coming together and union of soul and etheric like energy, if that makes sense. Otherworldly. You can accomplish anything really of this world, but that would be your glass ceiling. Okay, so let's focus on this. Let's focus on whatever this invite is. I am curious, or proposition, or whatever, but it feels more of like a like an invite. It may not be a formal invite because they did mention that. It's kind of like an olive branch, but in a way that invites you into something is what it feels like. You may be invited into somebody's world. Okay, we're gonna go with hermetic at this point. Queen of Swords. I mean, let's be careful, okay? Let's not bite off somebody's head before you get the full picture, because what is she doing? Are you serious? It's raining in a little bit, okay? Just saying. Magician. This is giving somebody. This is giving like you get to determine, right? The magician wields the energies that currently are. They influence, direct, and determine the outcome. And so with the Queen of Swords so eloquently holding someone's head, um, you get to determine the manner in which this moves forward. dare I say, your response, your tone, your approach. Don't go looking for any reason to wield that sword, is what I want to say. Don't search for a reason to cut something off prematurely. The beauty of the Queen of Swords is she actually considers all the facts. That's why she's the eagle eye view. She pulls out and sees all. And that's how she makes her determination. And if any aspect of the Queen of Swords that you take, that should be the one, not this. Just saying. Just saying. Ooh, Tower. Somebody may like your sharp wit, your intellect, your approach, the way you view things. Your decisiveness, your sense of self and boundaries. Um, I don't know why I'm picking that up. I most certainly don't feel like the Queen of Swords is easily impressed. This very well may indicate kind of like your energy that surrounds you coming up into the moment that this presents itself. There is a need to recognize it is in the realm of a manifestation that you have actively been working on, at least intellectually, um, like spiritually is coming in. With the magician, I feel as if you've almost willed the opportunity, willed like WILLED. You've willed it in, by your own will, basically. Like you've brought it in by your own will. Um, and that's the sense of like inevitability, of fated. Um, it is the thing that brings about the stark change. So we had the change. We're going to bring these back out, okay? Between the chariot, the change card, and the journey. I mean, it most certainly is taking you on a completely, utterly different path, which is what you picked on. It is a long one. It does color the road that you'll be traveling for the remainder of your life. So this is, by all means, a larger commitment than it presents itself as, right? Like, I don't think that you see all that this will bring to your life entail and how it'll unfold, right? But you also might be in the position because you are the Queen of Swords where you've been in this disconnect. You've unplugged from the idea of love, or intimate relationships and stuff like it seems like a foreign concept that, you know, this is a possibility and that you could exist in this while simultaneously constantly having your cup filled. Like the idea, like it just doesn't seem, you have no way to grasp it. You've not experienced that. So I can see where your paradigm or your lens in seeing this is like, I doubt it, or like it's not even on your radar. Let's say you're not even doubting it, you're just not seeing it like that. Like you don't know how to conceptualize it, right? Um, that's why it's such a massive stark change. Because again, this is the car. it really has long-standing impact is what I wanna say. Very long-standing. Tell us more. What is this person what is the King of Pentacles inviting them to? Or is this even an invitation to an event? They brought the Empress again, which is what came out with the page of to be supported. Is what they're saying. We do have the Phoenix rising here. It's almost like offering a foundation so someone can live as the Empress. Like when you're in destitution, you're not feeding into something or anyone or anything because your cup's depleted. But there's something beautiful about when your cup is full, what you're able to offer the world to those around you. Okay, let's bring the can we hone this shit into something more tangible now? We need the details now because I get the gist of this, but like there's obviously some communication happening here, and we're trying to figure out what the fuck's happening in the communication. In the communication, not just okay, there's that Phoenix rising, the death. They want to elevate you in some capacity. High Priestess, Six of Pentacles. They want to elevate you. They want to help. They want to support. But it doesn't feel like, can I say this is something that they do? But they're not going to be like, let me be your man and I'll take care of everything. I know you hear a lot of readings like that, right? I think that is something that naturally occurs as a connection forms, right? Because it's just who they are. But there's something more, I can feel it. There's something that they want to offer, some form of help, assistance, um, that elevates you, something that's going to elevate you. This is about material success, but it's also about resources, like the things that you lack, right? Whatever it is over here that you're lacking. Um, this does feel more tangible though, not just it's the pentacles. There's something they can offer. They stopped me shy of saying provide. There's something that they can offer. Funny that we have the Empress and the High Priestess flanking this rebirth, this resource. They have something you could use, but they know that if they give it to you, because the idea of the Six of Pentacles is you receive something. And if you utilize the resources, the help, the assistance that you receive, you can then one day be the person in the position to give the help, the assistance, that kind of thing. It talks about if you invest wisely, if you use the opportunity wisely and to your advantage. So there's some kind of like opportunity advantage that they know if they afford this to you, you will do absolutely everything you can with it. So it's more of like giving you a throne or giving you a foundation, and then they will get to watch you rise from that. It's not obviously not them doing the Phoenix rising. Okay. Back to the key. They know you need to be let loose. They know that the door needs to be unlocked. So this isn't like I am going to overstep and come in and like made in Manhattan and like nah, like it's not like that. It is they and we had a reading the other day where it's like let them help because that's a part of who they are. This is that, I think. Go back to that one. I don't remember the second name, but we did it on live. And it's like, oh, it was like where I was like, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." So it's like, they know you'll shine if you just need they're gonna give you something tangible. They're giving you something tangible, and they know you'll capitalize on it. It provides security, a solid foundation, so then you're not in this energy of again, when you're in desperation, and then from there, that's where something develops. That's why it starts out like this and it ends up being something very long term. Tell me about the high priestess. There's something more there that I am not touching on because it's just like bing, 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 bing. You may be a very intuitive person, very connected with your spirituality. It's the idea that you know what needs to be done, high priestess. You are privy to the path forward, just like the Queen of Swords. Like I've got all the information. Problem is that between the Ten of Swords and the Hermit, again, we had talked about this. This is something that you cannot do on your own. So it's requiring, there's a lot you can do, but there's a glass ceiling. There's other things that you cannot. I feel like you're meant to dedicate your time to being the high priestess, which places you in a position of not really being able to focus on that foundation, the mundane, the practical, the material, as much as this world requires you to, because it then pulls you out of your more spiritual self. I think we always talk about like the balance, like not staying too etheric and or too stuck in the like what we call the 3D, the rooted in reality. Like there needs to be happy medium. But for you, the happy medium is you are meant to be more like constantly connected, it feels like, to spirit. When you're having to deal with the battles of the material world and the challenges and the responsibilities and things like that, that pulls you out of this. It pulls you out of this and it compromises. It compromises, I heard like your spiritual integrity, your connection. Um, it disconnects you. And see, kind of like the way you did with love. But it seems as though love and connection is going to be the answer to being able to maintain your spiritual connection, maintaining your being plugged in consistently and online consistently as the high priestess. So, because again, Ten of Swords, doing it alone, mm-mm. Ten of Swords. Being hermit, mm-mm. Ten of Swords. So this is very swiftly happening. Like this is Knight of Wands again, coming in very quickly to pull somebody out of this. So is this directly, are they going to be upfront and be like, I like you, blah, 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 blah? There is a tangibility about this though. Tell me about the change. I get like we understand that there needs to be a coming together, right? We understand that there's some level of connection. that affords somebody to stay more consistently plugged in into a high priestess type of energy, so that they don't have to consistently battle the material world challenges. So that because when consistency and stability is afforded, somebody can do a lot more with their spiritual gifts, whatever that may be. And so, um, I guess we're just wondering, is this person coming directly? Because again, I feel something tangible and this develops. Um, Albeit quickly. We have the Knight of Wands. So again, this is this week's energy check-in. Somebody very well may receive some kind of proposition. I'm just trying to determine and help them understand in the arena that the proposition will come. Is it going to be strictly romantic? Is it going to be something very practical? Is it a mixture? Like, and if it is, what in what way? Because that helps them to identify it and ensure that they don't pass it by. So where are we going with this? What are we doing with this? Two of Wands. Two of Cups. It's almost as if they are acting in a way. They are taking action towards this, but again, it's still the notion that it's in your hands as to whether you accept this. So I would say that this is going to come across um there is a suddenness, an unexpectedness. I want one more. It's like they are doing. There's some kind of action they take that must drop your guard in some capacity because we have the Hanged Man, which is about changing perspective or seeing something from a different angle. So, whatever they bring in or whatever they approach you with softens you to a certain degree in regards to love. You may look at this like with it's either their approach or whatever they bring in that softens you to some degree. I almost want to say like you believe in the goodness of somebody again. I just heard like they have a solution for something. Something about this required forethought though. That might be what softens you. It's like you really went to that extent. You really are willing to the approach might be quick and out of nowhere, but there's forethought in this, which exemplifies some level of care and concern and compassion. I think it comes in a very mundane way, but there's a recognition of this took forethought. Like you know how like sometimes you can mention something and then at some point and you feel like it was glossed over, so insignificant, so whatever. And it's almost as if they took what you said and then what they observed and they like someone brings you something and you're like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" Like it feels so like so well thought out. Like there's a plan, like somebody had to plan something. Like that's and that makes you feel some kind of way. Four swords, whatever it is, it'll I'm fucking telling you, they see a way to alleviate some stress for you. Four swords, rest from strife. They whatever it is makes something easier for you. You know, sometimes on social media we'll see these things where it's like, like somebody's like, I'm about to lose my home, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes there'll be like people who are like, hey, I'll give you like they just donate money. But it's not like that because that wouldn't require any kind of forethought. It's more like somebody being aware of your circumstances and offering, like, I have an extra place that it still needs to be renovated, but I'm not going to be renting it out as I do work on it. It's going to take, so you might as well stay. Like, there's some kind of, and I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying, like, how, like really there's care, concern, consideration, forethought in, and you start asking, oh no, it wouldn't be a problem at all because, I mean, you said this. And so I figured, well, this might be great. It'll get you here and there. I wouldn't expect anything. And, but, you could help me, when you're living there, if you don't care to do some painting or this, that, or the other, it's like, there's some kind of, they could have offered that to anybody. They could have, yeah. I'm putting this up. Okay. So now I just want details, but I got to back out of it because I'm just like, wait, what? We're going to end with this. So somebody's coming forward with, gosh, I can't get away from how sweet it feels. I just want to be like, really? Like, that's what it feels like. Really? Like, I want to be like, are you sure? This is okay. Um, King of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups, desire to move on, search for something more meaningful. King of Swords has I'm coming back to like this big change. Um I think that other reading I was like they can help you get out of something. They're unlocking a door. Like whatever solution they have allows you to get out of something. And Four of Wands, it's like successful completion, a happy home life. They help you get out of something. Oh, come on. It's too much. All right. For love of God, are we serious? Now we're just going to kersploosh everything. Hone it in. Reel it in. I do feel a surprise at that might be why you're emotionally confused. You're like, oh, like maybe it's something you feel like you shouldn't take. Like that. It's a very I don't know, generous, thoughtful kind of a thing. And you're like, the Nine of Swords is a little bit of like a expecting the worst. Don't expect the worst on this because that could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, "Oh, okay, this is it." Whatever they do, this is why I said like you get to live fully into your high priestess because of this, because something is secured, some level of stability. They've got a solution for something, it provides that. Um, and it allows you to give birth to your dreams. It allows you to operate as the empress. When you're hierarchy of needs, right? Your root, your basic needs, like when that is always of consideration and concern, then you are not capable of operating as the empress, where you are able to pour into reality around you and people around you. And you're also not able to, I swear to God, that dropped, um, operate fully within your spiritual self, your spiritual gifts. So something here provides that. It is going to color and determine really how the rest of your life is going to look. And it is going to lead into something much more, um because of a this gesture, this solution, this whatever it is softens you and it just evolves. It evolves. Two of Cups. A relationship that grows closer. Literally it says that. It even says a positive resolution to a conflict. So, wow. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Um, I hope that it finds whoever it's meant for. By all means, come back if this begins to transpire and let us know. But I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day, and I will see you at the next read, okay?